One second, please. Yes. Again, thanks a lot, Joseph, for joining our event. We are very happy, delighted, and also honored to host you here today online and to give your talk. First, our opening talk will be given by Professor Luis Lanciego. Bizim Astrostructure Jose Luis Lanciego. He is a principal investigator of the Parkinson's disease at CIMA. İspanya'nın CIMA Üniversitesi'nde Parkinson hastalıklarını araştıran bir grup sahibi, principal investigator'da Öztürk'ta grubu var. His laboratory studies the origin of these neurodegenerative diseases and new gene therapy treatments for these patients. Onun laboratuvarı bu nörodejeneratif hastalıkların kökünü araştırır ve aynı zamanda yeni gen terapilerinin mümkünlüğünü aktarırlar, tetkik edirler. Professor Lanciego has published more than 120 articles in international scientific journals. Professor Lanciego hem de beynəlxalq peer-reviewed jurnallarda 120'den artıq çox yüksək impaktlı məqalə dərc edildi. O, Parkinson ve neurodegenerative hastalıklar sayesinde çok önemli araştırmasıdır. At the same time, Professor Lanciego is the director of the Pan-European Committee of the IBRO, International Brain Research Organization. Aynı zamanda Professor Lanciego IBRO'nun Pan-European Komitesi'nin sədridir. Pan-European Pan-European IBRO is an association of neuroscientific societies established in 1961 to promote neuroscience research through training opportunities, researcher mobility and dissemination. IBRO 1961 yılında yaradılmış, nöroelmi inkişafını hedefleyen bir beynəlxalq təşkilatdır. Moreover, IBRO publishes two prestigious scientific journals, Neuroscience and IBRO Neuroscience Report, and it is structured in 5 regional committees: Africa, Asia Pacific, Latin America, Pan-European and USA Canada. Aynı zamanda IBRO nörolim sahası için çok önemli 2 tane jurnalı tercih edilir. Birincisi Neuroscience, ikincisi de IBRO Neuroscience Report, ikisi de çok önemli jurnallardır. Ve IBRO özde 5 strukturdan ibaret komite olarak Afrika, Asia Pacific, Latin Amerika, Pan-European bizim bir dahil olduğumuz ve bizi daha çok adlandıran tabii ki. Ve US, Canada, Amerika, Kanada. Today, Jose Lanciego will talk about funding opportunities from IBRO-PERC in support of your scientific career. Bugün yani Lanciego kariyer yanısı için IBRO tarafından mümkün funding imkanları hakkında danışacağız. And we are very much looking forward to hearing your talk, and thanks again for your participation.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thanks. Before getting started, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me. Can you see my screen? Yeah, I think you can.
Yes, you can see it. But it's still the first page, right?
Sorry. Okay, so first of all, thanks a lot for the organizers for the kindest invitation to be here speaking online. Sorry for being available online. I hope next time I can be available in person. Another thing I want to stress before getting started is that I want to congratulate all the people there for setting up the Azerbaijan Neuroscience Society. It's a newborn society in Europe, and IBRO is, very, very proud and happy to see that you have organized yourselves as a new neuroscience society. So we hope we can work with you and to support your next activities to the best possible extent. So my role here is to speak about what IBRO is about, in particular my committee, that is the European Committee. So I will just take you through a small presentation that is summarize IBRO, the idea of IBRO, and the type of activities that IBRO is funding, that are all of them open to you. So let's go with it. So as it has been mentioned, IBRO has a number of values, a number of foundational values, where in brief, what we want to do is to enhance the chances of young people in early stages of career to progress through these careers. And, our core values are inclusion and diversity, gender balance, and geographical balance. So by going this way, we want to make sure that minorities that are underrepresented have chances to be funded through a number of programs that are, particularly focused on young people at early stages of the career. So, as has been mentioned, IBRO is quite a very old neuroscience association. We have been founded in the 60s, and IBRO is divided in what we call 5 regional committees. There is one committee taking charge of activities in US and Canada, another one in Latin America, one in Africa, one in Asia Pacific, and the European one that is called the Pan-European Regional Committee. So we want to, to train and support careers, to disseminate knowledge about brain research, and taking everything together, we want to increase the global impact of neuroscience throughout the world. So we have 2 society journals that are Neuroscience and IBRO Neuroscience Reports. So this is from where the money is coming from. So, the more you publish in these 2 journals, then IBRO will receive more royalties for Elsevier. And this is from where, more than 95% of our funding is coming for the revenues of the journals. So, my message is just to recommend you to publish in our society journals. I can tell you they are pretty good journals. And, as long as the journals are in a good, healthy situation, IBRO will be in a healthy situation too. So what we found, we divide our funding programs in 2 main categories. One is more related to initiatives to support career development, and the other one is related to support organization of a number of events related to brain research. So you have there a list for career development, which is schools, travel grants, for people that want to go to a given conference, exchange fellowships for people that want to perform short stage in a lab different than the parental one. We're also covering maternity and parenthood grants. A small amount of money is coming to early career awards, collaborative research grants. Rising Stars is a program that is not funded in Europe, and the IBRO and UNESCO Science of Learning Fellowship is a program that is not covered again in IBRO-PERC, in the European Regional Committee. And in terms of event organization, quite a lot of money is coming to conference sponsorships, such as your workshop here today. We're also supporting meetings, most of them organized by national societies. We have diversity grants, support for soft skills, a schools program. We are funding this year one school. Global engagement is not in the European Committee, and Dana Brain Awareness Week grant is no longer in the European Committee. So you have to choose, which type of program fits the best in what you want to organize, in what you want to apply, and just go through the website of IBRO to see which is the calendar of calls, at what time a given call is going to be open, which is going to be the deadline, and just try to get in full keeping with the guidelines for applicants. Because sometimes people make mistakes, and it's a pity. For instance, now we are evaluating travel grants for meetings being held in the first half of 2024. And to my surprise, we have received about 150 applications. Probably 10 of those are going to be funded. But to my surprise, there are about 24, 25 grants, applications, sorry, that have been submitted for people who wants to attend meetings being held in the second half of 2024. And this is not what this call is about. We will launch every year 2 calls, one for meetings in the first half, another one for meetings in the second half of the year. So please go through the guidelines to make sure that you apply on the right time and to the right program. So this is just a summary of things we have funded in 2023. And this is the map of the geographic area being covered by the Pan-European Committee. As you can see, these are nice representations of countries in Europe with a rather good geographical balance. I mean, in terms of north to south and east to west. Whenever possible, we want to prioritize applications coming from countries that are less developed. So, for instance, if you apply for a travel grant coming to the FENS meeting in Vienna next year, you have more chances to be funded if the application is submitted by somebody else in Azerbaijan rather than by application submitted by somebody else in Finland, where there is more and more money for research and development in brain research compared to countries in the south or in the east of Europe. So, you know, merging all programs together, as you can see here, up to 64 grants were awarded in 2023 for recipients being based in 23 different countries across Europe. And you know, I'm happy to see Azerbaijan here is the meeting we are dealing with today. In terms of gender distribution, of course, is I would say we want to keep gender balance to the best possible extent. However, you can see here there's a huge imbalance between males and females that basically reflects that there are many more females applying than males. So it's impossible to keep a 50-50 ratio. So this ratio of awardees is what is reflecting is the difference in the number of applicants from males to females. For the schools we fund in 2023, we have funded 2 schools, one in Romania, another one in Portugal. In Romania, we fund the so-called TENS, that is the Transylvanian Summer School of Neurosciences. It's a program, as a school we have funded in the last 2 years, and it is very likely that we will continue funding this workshop because we are pretty happy with the outcome of this meeting, the type of people they attended this meeting, and for the organizers of TENS, they are making a strong point in gender balance and geographical balance when selecting the attendees. So, you know, TENS is being funded by IBRO-PERC. So if you want to go to TENS, you can apply to a travel grant to TENS, and you will have quite some nice chances to be elected. So we have a number of partnerships because in the European area, we are sharing the same brain research space with FENS, that is the Federation of European Neuroscience Association. That is one of our favorite partners. So we have an agreement with FENS, it's an NYU, a Memorandum of Understanding. And by going through this way, we are allocating a substantial amount of money to FENS activities. So funding is coming from FENS and IBRO, although the administration of these programs is organized by FENS. So as you can see here, we are allocating quite a substantial amount of money, roughly almost 100,000 euros to FENS to cover 4 different programs: the exchange program, neuroscience schools, early career training, and travel grants for people who want to attend the FENS Forum to be held next year in Vienna, if I am right, is by the end of June. Another thing that is quite important is that we are founding partners and founding members of the European Brain Council. So the European Brain Council is an organization established in Brussels. It's like an umbrella organization where there are people from, for different fields. There are 2 neuroscience societies that are FENS and IBRO, a number of associations of clinicians, such as psychiatrists, neurologists, neurosurgeons, patients associations from many different diseases, and representatives from the industry. So all together, they were mixed all together in the European Brain Council. And the role and the goal of the European Brain Council is to talk with the European Commission, to talk with the European Parliament, and to advocate in support of brain research. And I can tell you the European Brain Council is highly committed in terms of advocacy for brain research at the European Union level. We have organized a number of activities, such as, for instance, activities in support of animal experimentation in Europe. Next week, we have another event of the European Brain Council in the Spanish Senate, trying to promote brain research. And this is what the European Brain Council is about. So you have the website of the European Brain Council here, and of course you can visit it. And try to make yourself more familiar with the type of activities that the Brain Council is pushing forward. There is one meeting organized by the European Brain Council every year that is called Brain Innovation Days. Usually takes place in Brussels somewhere around October every year, where it's a meeting where a number of scientists, patient representatives, policymakers, investors, and pharma companies, they merge together to create a scenario where everybody is talking about brain research with a final goal, with a final aim of joining efforts, pushing forward brain research overall. This is the current composition of my committee. This is the committee of IBRO in the Europe, the Pan-European Committee. Well, we have rather good balance in terms of gender and geographical balance. As you can see, there are a number of people that we can stay here for a maximum of 2 terms, made of 3 years each. So by the end of the next year, there are a number of people that are going to step down. So, we are going through a process of selection of new people that are willing to join the committee. We will see what's coming out at the end of 2024. But if you want to be more interested on IBRO-PERC activities, for sure, anybody can freely apply. You need to be appointed by a national society, and then you have to go through a selection by the nominations committee, and finally to a final vote that is, going to finally decide who is going to be represented in the committee. We have a number of partnerships all around the globe that you can also benefit about. Everything is listed in the web page of IBRO. We have organized this year in September the IBRO World Congress in Granada. The IBRO World Congress is an event taking place every 4 years. So next meeting is expected to be held in 2027. So in roughly numbers, the people that are attendees to the World Congress in Granada were roughly about 2,500 people for all of them coming all over the world. And I can tell you, it was a very nice meeting. It's not the standard scientific meeting. So it's not only about science, but throughout this meeting, we also discuss everything related to the core values of IBRO in terms of minorities, representation, gender balance, geographical balance, inclusion, and diversity. So what we have decided so far already is that the next IBRO World Congress in 2027 is going to take place in Africa. Just because the IBRO World Congress was never organized in Africa since the foundation of IBRO. So we feel ourselves obliged to go to Africa. And what is still pending to be decided is in which part of Africa this meeting is going to take place, because it depends on the local infrastructures. There are also issues about security, issues about vaccination, depending on where you want to go. So far, I think there are three main possible candidates that are Morocco, Egypt, and South Africa, but the decision has not already formally been made, and I hope it's going to be made sooner than later, and for sure it will be communicated later on. So just things that not to forget, things you would need to keep in mind. Go to the IBRO webpage as often as possible to check what are the open calls, which is the time in which these calls are going to be open, which is the deadline for each individual call. So far, there are a number of things open. The so-called Neuroscience Capacity Accelerator for Mental Health. The call has already been just closed. It's no longer open. So this is a partnership with a foundation, and the overall idea is to support capacity building, where we want to strengthen collaborations from a principal scientist located in the low and middle income country who wants to join a effort with somebody else located anywhere in the world. So this is a program that is going to fund applications for federal mercury at a maximum of 9 months with a maximum amount of 50,000 euros each. And the overall idea is to merge efforts in areas that might be of the common interest of two different partners. It's related to mental health, overall. I mean, we are covering mental disorders such as schizophrenia, addiction, bipolar disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders, and so on. So everything that is related to psychiatry and mental health can be covered with this program. So, for instance, in Europe, we have just a few countries that can be considered as middle and low income countries. Most of those countries are located in the Balkans area. So, for instance, a good example of what we are looking for with this type of application, for instance, you may be aware or maybe not that one of the priorities in brain research from the government in Serbia is post-traumatic stress disorder, because there are plenty of people there affected by post-traumatic stress disorder because of the former Balkans war. So, for instance, if somebody else in Serbia can join efforts with somebody else in Ukraine that now is facing another war, in order to bring expertise in post-traumatic stress disorder to the government of Ukraine. But this is the type of partnerships that can be covered by this type of grants. We have exchange fellowship in partnership with FENS for people that want to perform short stage in another laboratory based in Europe for a short period of time. And of course, I'm not sure if it's already open. Anyway, it's going to be open very soon. A number of research grants for people who wants to go to the FENS forum. So we divided applicants into different categories, such as graduate students, or even undergraduate students, undergraduate, graduate, and postdoctoral students. These are the people that can apply to travel grants. And we always want to keep a balance in terms of north and south and east to west in Europe, and also in terms of the stage of the academic career. So, overall, I will say that a graduate student or even an undergraduate student may have a little bit more chances than a postdoctoral student to be awarded, because don't forget that one of the things we are pushing forward is funding people in very early stages of their careers. And the competition is huge. Probably the rate of success is less than 10% of the applicants. So you need to pay attention to the details of your application, because the devil is in the details. So every time we have to evaluate grants, we pay strong attention to the letters of support. Most applicants are required to submit 1 or even 2 letters of support. And when going through the evaluation, you can really feel that there are people that are considering the letters of support very seriously. You can see, for a given mentor, takes quite some time to write down a real letter of support. On the other hand, there are people that are just sending a standard letter of support. So if the mentor of a given student is not paying that much effort in the application, it is very unlikely that this applicant will finally get funding. So pay attention to the details. For things that you have to keep an eye is the calendar of events. There are 2 calendars. One is the grant calendar 2023 and the schools and training calendar 2023. Everything is available online in the webpage of IBRO. So please scroll down the menus and look for what type of program fits the best in what you have in mind. Once again, just to emphasize that our funding is coming from our journals. So the more we publish in these journals, then more money is coming to the IBRO. And basically, with all the money that we receive from the journals is, sent back to the society, to basic scientists or clinical scientists that are doing brain research in Europe, with emphasis on people that are in very early stages of their careers. And this is more or less everything on my side. Of course, feel free to contact me anytime. I think that my email is on the first page. Let me see. Okay, so this is my email. So feel free to contact me if you have any question. Of course, you can also you have contact addresses from IBRO central offices in Brussels in the webpage. So if you have any question about which is the type of program you want to apply, which are the specific rules, if there is something that is not properly explained in the webpage, don't be afraid to just send a message and say, okay, I need more, more details on a given call, or more, there's something I don't understand very well, please explain. And we will be willing to provide you with any explanation you have. So I want to, as a final word, I want to encourage you to go our webpage and to scroll down the menus, look for the available calls, for what calls are going to be launched soon, and don't miss the deadline. And that's all. We are here for sure. We are here in your support. We are absolutely very proud to see the newborn of the Azerbaijan Neuroscience Society. I want to congratulate you once more, and we are here in your support. So whatever you may have in mind, feel free to drop me a message, and I will be more than pleased in provide you with my best possible advice. So thanks a lot for your attention. And now, just in case you have any question, I will be more than pleased to answer anything you may have in mind. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Jose. It was a fantastic talk, and also we are very thankful for giving such a great opportunity for many national societies and more to realize great events that we can participate and learn and network. And we really enjoyed your talk. And also I highly engage our audience as well to really consider publishing future papers or to submit in this IBRO journals. One of them, for example, neuroscience, is actually one of my favorite, and recently our lab also has published a paper there. And yes, with this, I would like to start questions. I'm sure that our audience has plenty of interesting questions for you. Any questions? Yes. I will also quickly say in Azerbaycan just that suallar listesi açılır değil. Yani ne sualınız varsa bildiğiniz olursa ver.
Maybe I can start. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can. Okay.
So you mentioned that IBRO journals support open access, and I was wondering about the details of that, because one of the talks that we're going to give today is about open science and practices related to it. And one thing I know is that open access options in journals are usually much more expensive than normal access. So I was wondering if IBRO has a special deal or some arrangement for its member societies, so that, for instance, in Azerbaijan, it would be very hard to pay those like a extra money for open access. It's very hard to convince the governments or the funders to invest in this, invest in science in general, but that's beside the point. So is there any special arrangement that makes it easy for people, for researchers from non-European or American institutions to publish open access?
Okay, understood. Yeah, so let me, okay, so there is more and more open access. So there is a clear trend for most of the journals going to open access. There are more and more funding agencies that oblige people to publish in open access. Some of these funding agencies cover open access, some others do not cover open access. So as a general rule, the goal of open access is that now research that is being funded by public money should be available to the public. This is, let's say, the golden rule for open access. We, as IBRO, with neuroscience, we don't have a general agreement for people, for authors that are submitting papers from countries where they are receiving less money in terms of funding. However, I think that Elsevier is flexible enough. So, you know, if you really can make your case saying, okay, I invest in Azerbaijan, everybody knows the funding for neuroscience in Azerbaijan is far less, far away from, let's say, funding from neuroscience in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
So you can explain Elsevier that your funding organization is not covering open access, but you are obliged to publish in open access. So I think that at least to some extent, based on individual cases, you can ask for a reduction of the fees for open access. And I think that neuroscience and Elsevier will be flexible enough in accommodating these requests.
Cool.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot. Maybe we'll quickly also translate it to Azeri for the people here.
Yes.
Mən sualım o idi ki, açıq çıxışlı məqalələrdən danışdı ki, IBRO-nun jurnalları bəstələyir. Mən soruşdum ki, bəs Azərbaycanda normalda açıq çıxışlı olan məqalələr, yəni pulsuz girib baxa biləcəyiniz məqalələr daha baha olur. Siz müəllif olaraq onu o şəkildə dərc etmək istəyirsinizsə, normalda daha baha olur. Bizim kimi ölkələrdə çox pul vermirlər, ümumiyyətlə, elmə ümumiyyətlə, amma həm də siz göstərsəz ki, jurnala normalda bu qədərdir, mən də açıq çıxışda eləmək istəyirəm, bu daha baha olacaq, onda vəbşə problem yarada bilərlər. Ona görə soruşdum ki, təşkilatın bununla bağlı xüsusi bir təşkil elədiyi bir şey var üzvlərinə.
Bir dənə var, bir hareket çıkarak, bu hafta harcetler açıklar. Elime en büyük problemlerinden biri oldu ki, elmi makaleler okumak kullanılır. Elmi məqaləni sabit dərəcələrə tutulmalıdır. Yəni bu biraz qeydə sistemdə biz dərəcələrini tuturuyor. Ona öz məqaləni tutması yaratılır. İçine tutulur gedir devamlı.
Seviyorum.
Ve bir de bir için teşkilat var bizim taraflarımızdan da o məqsəddir. Yəni açıq yer tutmaları her şey. Çünkü tutul əslində örnəkdən gəlir, değişik kurulur ve tutul
Tam yaşlı olmalı.
bunun size ilk ödül şekilde destek ve doğru sorduğu için bazı konular başlıyor ki open access belgeler yani ham okuyabilir ama bunu da okuyabilirler için daha sıkıntı. Bu da daha bir fazla sağlayabilir çünkü çok adamın böyle maliyeti yoktur. Azerbaycan'da da buna bir tane görüş destek verilmiş, yani destek verilmiş, open access. Bununla bağlı arkadaşlar.
Ben sağlam bu etkilesinde böyle bir şey eləyirlər ki, xüsusilə daha aşağı gələn ölkələrdən olan tədqiqatçılar üçün xüsusi olsun. Odur ki, Elsevier hansı ki nəşriyyatdır, onunla fərdi şeydə danışmaq olar, onlar görə daha şeylər, başa düşən davrana bilərlər ehtimalı. Yəni ki, bu daha fərdi səviyyədə edilə biləcəyini. Başqa nə var? Yox, okey. Biz diğer buradan. Getmese de buradan şey yok.
In the presentation, I heard that there are actually some programs that basically IBRO are making. So what's the specific age? I've been told that it's for the people who are basically on the early stages of their careers. So there has been the age. I'm not sure how to for myself. People like that, but I think people who are actually want to know about it.
Did you hear that, or should I repeat?
No, please repeat it because it's hard to hear.
Yeah. So the question is whether there's any age restrictions for the grants that you mentioned, and this question comes from a relatively young member of the audience. So I imagine, yeah. So what are the age range or like a degree range that your grants are mostly geared towards?
Well, thanks for the question. There is no limit in terms of age, and there is no limit in terms of the career stage. So we are funding, so most of the funding goes for people that are graduate students, likely going to a PhD program, but you can apply as a graduate, you can apply as a postgraduate program, as a postdoctoral scientist, but you can also apply even in an undergraduate stage. So we welcome applications for people at any career stage. Don't forget that one of the things we emphasize is to promote scientific careers of people that are in a very early stage. So a substantial part of the money, I don't have the numbers, but probably more than two-thirds of the money are coming to graduate people or to undergraduate students. So we really want to make the life of young people as easy as possible. And that's why we emphasize funding for young people and funding for meetings where most of the attendees are people in early career stages. And the same holds true for soft skills grants, exchange programs, and everything we fund is, a strong emphasis is being placed in promoting the careers of people in early stages.
Great, thanks a lot. I'll just give a quick wrap up, and then maybe we can have. Do you have time? Can we do one more question?
I have plenty of time. I'm here for you.
Okay. Tercüme misin?
Olan. Sual var ki bir yaş limiti var mı bu grantlar için ve daha sonraki yaş limiti qətiyyən yoxdur. Hamı müraciət istənir və təqdir olunur. Müraciətlər çıxıb doktorantlardan gəlir əslində. Ama doktorantdan daha sonraki mərhələdə bir müraciət var, amma eyni zamanda bakalavr tələbələri və daha cavan tələbələrdə müraciət edir və grant əldə edə bilərlər. Və əsas hədəflərindən biri də odur ki, mümkün qədər cavan tələbələr əslində müraciət etsinlər. Çünki sizdəki fərqli backgroundlardan, fərqli yaşlardan kariyerlərinin başlanğıcında olan cavanlara dəstək mümkün qədər ola bilsinlər. Ona görə yəni bu zamanlar hamı üçün həyat çıxmaqlı karyera imkanları ola bilər və bu da bizim əsas səbəbimiz üçün bu çıxışlar bu fərqli başlanğıcında yer vermişik.
Başka sorun var mı?
Can I add something?
Yeah, of
Yes.
course. Go ahead.
Just for instance, as a good example of the criteria we follow when allocating funding is this workshop and the 3P workshop, because the overall idea of this workshop was to provide young people that are undergraduate or graduate students with the information you need to prepare a poster, a paper, and a presentation. Since the expected audience for this workshop are people in very early stages of their careers, this is one of the reasons why during the competition we decided to fund this workshop. Just to make yourself, just to try to understand which is our philosophy when deciding where the money is going to.
Cool. Thanks. We'll just quickly translate that.
Böyle ki, əslində misal üçün onu deyirlər ki, bizim bugünkü təcrübə dəstək materiallarımızda ən əsaslıdır ki, bu təcrübə auditoriyası nisbətən cavan auditoriyadır, xüsusilə tələbələr, universitet tələbələri, bakalavriyat tələbələri və doktorantlar səviyyəsindədir və bu təşkilat üçün bir gördüyünüz önəmli bir faktordur ki, cavan tədqiqatçıları və elm adamları və eyni zamanda tələbələri mümkün qədər dəstəkləyə bilsinlər.
Bu arada Azərbaycan'da sualı olan varsa rahatlığını gelmezse tercüme edebilirim.
Bir sual da var sonra.
Bak, yok da alabilmem yani.
So another example, and sorry for for trying to make myself understandable to the best possible extent. So for instance, today I have to decide who is going to be awarded with a travel grant for meetings taking place in the first half of 2024. I mean, for meetings other than defense. Defense meeting has a different code. So I am going to fund 10 applications up to 149 received. So the rate of success is pretty low. But for these 10 people that are going to be funded, 8 out of these 10 are graduate students, and only 2 of these 10 are postdoctoral students. So we are, let's say, biased towards people in early stages of their careers.
Great. Let's quickly translate that.
Yani misal için başka bir dijital metode hem de aynı zamanda bu fundinglerde qərar verən şəxslərdən ki, hangi layihələr düzəldilir və belki gəlin için olan layihələrdən birinə 150 müraciət var.
Səyahət grantı.
Səyahət grantı. Yəni hansı konferansa getmək üçün səyahət grantları verirlər və 10 nəfərə grant verir və 10 nəfər sizin doktorantlar tələbəsidir, çox zamandır, ikisi yalnız doktorantlardan sonraki mərhələdə alındı. Yəni bununla da demək istəyir ki, yenə də cavan tələbələri və elm adamlarını mümkün qədər dəstəkləyirlər ki, həm dəstək alsınlar maddi olaraq, həm də müraciət etsinlər. Yəni müraciət etsə həqiqətən qazanma şansını düşündüyünüzdən daha çoxdur. Ondan həqiqətən. And one more question.
I think
Yeah.
we're kind of running out of time.
Perfect. Then, Jose.
Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Although the session has been recorded, I will be providing you with a copy of my presentation.
That would be great.
You can freely distribute within the attendees.
Thanks a lot. That's great. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day and enjoy the workshop.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dediği gibi bu çok hem de Zoom'da rekord oldu, bizim online tarafında rekord oldu. Ve hem de YouTube hesabımızda görüşürüz, hem de YouTube hesabımızda görüşürüz ve biz bunu televizyon sonunda devam edeceğiz.